UmpAttire.com. Here is a crew how-to on applying numbers and flags to your uniform, shirts, and jackets. Start by taking your shirt. Numbers are applied to the right sleeve. Flags are applied to the left sleeve or the back under the collar, the yoke of the collar. Well, let's focus on the sleeve. So we've got our sleeve and we want to get it nice and flat and find the middle of the sleeve to where when you're standing, it's going to be in the middle. And that's done by, you've got your crease here. And then also, if you take it nice and flat, iron it out, you're going to find the top crease that you make runs into the top seam of the top of the shoulder. So everything's running flat and smooth, and it's in the middle. This is the middle. That's the middle of the bottom of the sleeve. This is the middle of the top of the sleeve. So now we've got it nice and flat, and we have a line that we want to focus on. Now that I've got my shirt nice and pressed and the center line is there, this is now I can focus on putting my numbers on either side of the center line. So let's get it nice and flat so we got a flat surface to work with to apply the numbers. So kind of move the shirt around. Get it nice and flat with the center line showing. See, there it is. It's right here. This is my line that I want to work with. It runs all the way down to the cuff. Now take your numbers. These are precision cut numbers. They come in 4 inches or 3 inches, depending on what your association would like your uniform numbers to be. They have a heat backing. I would pick a color that matches your shirt. I've got a powder blue shirt here with a black trim. So I've got my black numbers with the powder blue trim and the white outline. So it's a nice contrast there. There's other options. I would check those out. Again, see what your association wants. But now we're going to take our numbers and measure 1 inch from the top of the cuff. And that's where our numbers are going to sit. Number 1 right there. And then the 0. Again, 1 inch from the top of the cuff. That's this seam right here. This is your cuff. This is the top of the cuff, this seam. We measure 1 inch from the top. Boom, right there. And I want to get these numbers just about as close as possible to that center line so it looks like it's an actual number. If you're having trouble with your shirt and kind of keeping it flat, again, you've already got your center crease here. So take your iron and press down, even hit it with the steam a little bit to give each side a flat or very flat surface so that you can lay your numbers and they're not moving around on you. Now that I've got my numbers exactly where I want them, 1 inch up from the cuff, and they're equally on either side of the crease. Measure twice, cut once, the old saying. Again, these are heat backs. So when I put the heat on them, they're gonna stick to the shirt. I'm gonna lay a t-shirt over the top of the numbers just so I don't burn anything or just damage my shirt or the numbers with the heat of the iron. I've got it set at like a cotton, which is still gonna give a lot of heat down to it. So I've got the numbers in place and just press. That's gonna activate the heat backing on the numbers. Maybe throw some steam on it, just get that heat through. The pressure of the iron to the numbers is what's really gonna stick and activate that heat backing. Work it around. Get the numbers every side of them. Up. I'm gonna even turn down my dials a little bit and go over the numbers themselves. Now that my numbers have had a nice press, let's see how they look. Come up. Seems like they're pretty good and stuck on there. From this point, they'll hold, but over washing time, like multiple loads in the wash, that could deteriorate some of that heat backing. It's just washing abuses this kind of connection. So from here, we highly suggest going ahead and having them sewn in place with a zigzag stitch pattern on your sewing machine. So moving on to a flag patch on your shirt. This goes on the left side traditionally, And instead of an inch, we want to go 1.5 inches up from the cuff. So measuring up 1.5 inches along the center line, our numbers, the bottom of the flag is going to be placed right there. So 1.5 inches up, then split your center line with the flag so we know that it's in the middle of our sleeve. Pull that out. It's in a good spot. Take our iron. And this is like an embroidered fabric, so I'm not so worried about like burning it as much as I was like the precision cut numbers. It does have a heat backing, so let's stick it on there. You might need to go a little hotter because of how thick the flag is. Just really push down on the flag. That's almost on there. I do a little bit more. And again, because this is the flag and it's thicker, I highly suggest having it now stitched in or sewn in with a zigzag pattern by a sewing machine. It will hold if you're in a pinch, but this likely isn't going to hold for very long or over multiple games. I don't want you peeling off. But it's on there. Again, it's heat backed, but for the best results, have it sewn in. Some associations like to have the flag patch on the back of the neck. This is the yoke of the collar on the back side. I'd go 1 inch down and do the same measure. Just pressing down, getting it all nice and pressed in there. Numbers aren't found on the back of the neck, usually just the flag. So moving on to jackets, pullovers, or long sleeve shirts, we start by, again, laying the item flat, lowering our heat, and again getting that crease of where the middle of the jacket is. You lay it flat. You got your main crease down here on the bottom. So again, find that as flat as possible to the edge. Work it up to where your crease is at the top. Now we have a nice flat surface there. All right, so now I've got my flat surface. I want to put the number in the middle. So there's my center line. It's got an inner lining. I'm going to flatten it out even more. We measure from the top of the shoulder cuff, where that meets, down 4 inches for medium and large. I've got a large jacket here, and I want my number to start, the top of my number to start at that 4-inch mark. And I want to go ahead and split the center line with my number. I only have a single number here, like on the shirt, so you double on the other side. But we're just going to split this. And since the jacket's a little bit more sensitive material, I'm going to use the shirt. All right. Numbers on there. Folds with it. A little loose on this edge. So just come back, turn down again. I don't want to ruin my jacket, but I want to make sure that edge gets pushed down. For the best results, take it now to a seamstress or a tailor and have them sew it down for you. Thank you for joining us on this crew how-to for attaching numbers and flags to your uniform shirts or jackets. Please see our many selections of numbers and flags at umpatire.com, your #1 online retailer and leading authority in sports officials gear and apparel.